President Obama says there was a, quote, systematic failure by security and intelligence agencies that allowed a man with explosives in his underwear to try to blow up a plane. But our next guest says the systematic failure is the Obama administration.
Here to tell us why, former Deputy Assistant Secretary of Defense and President of the Center for Security Policy, Frank Gaffney. Good morning, Frank. Are we going soft on terrorism in this country?
Well, I'd put it differently. I think we've been soft-headed about what it is we're up against. This is certainly not a man-caused disaster that we've narrowly averted, nor, I would argue, is it even a terrorist attack mounted by some violent extremist, let alone an isolated extremist, as the president would have it. This was an act of jihad, which is, as we all, I hope, know by now, something that is obligatory under what authoritative Islam calls Sharia on all Muslims. Fortunately, most of them don't want any part of Sharia any more than the rest of us do, but those that do are engaged in a war against us, and if we persist in pretending that's not the case, I don't care how many reviews the president conducts. I don't care how many, changes they make to seating arrangements in our airports. We're going to continue to have people successfully killing Americans, and the blood will be on this president's hands if he doesn't start the review by asking, who's the enemy, and why are they doing this to us?
When this 23-year-old allegedly went up to his dad and said, I'm going to go over to Yemen and study Sharia, soon after his dad said, I'm cutting you off if you do this, and then he ended up going to the U.S. Embassy to report his own son, so he knows what you know, Frank. And here's the other scary part. Yemenis officials, a high-ranking minister, says there's 200 to 300 more like him poised to act. And this cleric says this kid is the tip of the spear.
Yeah. Look, we've been hearing a lot about these watch lists and tides lists and so on, and we're told, hey, look, we can't deal with 550,000 or so people who are on these lists. Well, I'm sorry, but we're probably dealing with millions of people who are prepared to engage in one form or another, the violent kind of jihad where they can, the stealthy kind where they can't, or simply to finance it. And we've got to get our heads around this, or we absolutely, positively are going to be defeated in this holy war. And I don't think the American people will stand for that. And I think if they find out that this president, he can't lay the blame off on the intelligence agencies. This is a political problem. And unfortunately, it goes back to the previous administration, but it's worse today, because today, I think we can't even talk about terrorism, at least until very recently, let alone really understand what's animating it.
It's extremism now.
Well, that's what they've been calling it, and the president says it's an isolated extremist. That's rubbish. This is part of a worldwide phenomenon. It's not confined to Afghanistan or Iraq or even the Middle East, to say nothing of Yemen, Somaliland. This is something that is happening in America, too, and this is the thing that I just have to fault my friends here at Fox as well. To the extent that the media, as well as the government in our country, persists in listening to agents of the Muslim Brotherhood who are informing us about the true character of Sharia and about the true character of those who follow it.
Right.
Even if they're practicing the stealthy form of jihad, they are part of the problem. And I think the president's review has got to start with that.
Well, obviously, Fox,
when it's on his desk tomorrow,
Fox prides itself obviously on being fair and balanced, and that's why you're on today, and we hear your viewpoint.
I appreciate it
today, and we appreciate
but
having
don't put agents of the Muslim Brotherhood on, please.
Former Deputy Assistant Secretary of Defense, Frank Gaffney, thank you very much.